Popped into my hashtag Rise and Grind planner first thing this morning. And when I popped into the planner, there was a quote at the top because on every single page of the hashtag Rise and Grind planner, we do have quotes that are submitted by actual Rise and Grind members. It's one of my favorite parts of the planner. And so at the very top of the planner, there is a quote from Miss Carrie Ann. And the quote this morning said this: "If you are intent upon having your way in everything, you will be frustrated much of the time." As soon as I read that quote this morning, I thought, man, how much truth is there to that, right? When we try to hold on to our way, the way that we've always done things, especially in today's world where technology is constantly changing. And I just spent the 8 days in Dallas and Napa and where else was I? Dallas and Napa and Orange County, and in the face of innovation and technology in the future. And so this really resonated with me. If you are intent upon having your way in everything, you will be frustrated much of the time. The key is we must be fluid. The key is we must evolve. The key is we must be willing and ready to take on new challenges. Today on the hashtag Rise and Grind, we're going to dive into this series called On the Road Again. I'm going to give you some key takeaways from my trip to Napa Valley last week that I think you're going to find impactful. But with that said, let's go ahead and dive in. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? See, there's no excuse for you not pushing yourself to the next level. In order for you to create a new you must have a new mindset. When teams come together, we can create things that are greater than the sum of all of their parts. Good morning and welcome to hashtag Rise and Grind. I am your host, Glenn Lundy. I am a husband to one, a father to 8, and the creator of what is going to be the #1 most watched morning show in the world. It is 5:30 a.m. and I hope that you are ready to rise and grind. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? Dude, today is Tuesday. That's right. Today is Tuesday, July 20th, 2021. And what's crazy is today is the very first, you heard it here first, folks. Today is the very first and the very last time it will ever be Tuesday, July 20th, 2021. So I want to make sure we make the absolute most, and I do mean the absolute most, of this absolutely incredible day. I just realized that my other phone here, there's a lot to keep track of here in the mornings, just so you know. So I just realized my other phone here is dead, which means I won't be able to see my Facebook peeps. So we'll have to fix that here in just a second. We ain't got time for all of that. Listen, last week I visited the beautiful Napa Valley. The beautiful wine country that is Napa Valley. I'm talking rolling hills, beautiful scenery, thousands and thousands and thousands of acres of grapevines. Like, it was just absolutely beautiful, right? You had beauty, you had wine, we had great weather. I mean, Napa Valley, for those of you that don't know, is in I guess it's in Northern California. I guess kind of in the middle. But anyways, it's in California. I can guarantee you that, right? It's in California. And this is a place that was established in 1850, right after the Mexican-American War. And originally there were many different things that were farmed there. There was cows, and it was very fertile land, but a lot of farmers moved there, staked the land, or claimed the land, and started farming. And ultimately they figured out that it was a great place for grapes. Grapevines could just absolutely thrive in that particular area. And now basically the entire thing is grapevines. The entire place, it's like 750 square miles, and it's just wineries and restaurants and little facilities and grapes everywhere, right? It's amazing. And it has grown to become, this little tiny place has grown to become like a hub for wine worldwide. It's like number one distributor of wine across the world. And so people, those that visit Napa Valley, what they tend to do is they tend to tour the wineries. And basically everywhere you go, there's wine tasting is going on, like everywhere. So I was there for an automotive event. Every break, they had wine tasting. The hotel had wine bottles sitting up front that you could taste. Like everywhere you go, wine tasting is what you do in Napa Valley. It's really, really, really interesting. And so that's just kind of part of the program. And when it comes to wine itself, the great Ralph Waldo Emerson once said this. He said, "Give me wine to wash me clean of the weather, stains of cares." Give me wine to wash me clean of the weather, stains of cares, right? And that's what wine has the ability to do, kind of wash away your worries, wash away your cares, wash away your concerns, right? Galileo said it this way. Galileo said, "Wine is sunlight held together by water." What a beautiful image, right? Wine is sunlight held together by water. I thought that was a really powerful quote when I read that one yesterday morning. Now, there's a guy named Bill Maher. Do you guys know Bill Maher? Bill Maher put it this way. Bill Maher is a comedian. He's also a very, what's the word? He's a comedian, and he's a little controversial at times. Let's just say that. But Bill Maher said this. Napa Valley is Disneyland for alcoholics. Let's be honest. You're not visiting wineries for 4 days because you're a oenophile. You're doing it because you're a drunk. Napa Valley is the only place in America where you can pass out in a stranger's house and it's okay because it's a bed and breakfast and you actually paid for it. Right? Listen, no matter how you look at it, Napa is a place to be regarded and to be remembered. It is a unique gem here in this great country, the United States of America. But with that said, I was not there for that. I wasn't in Napa Valley for the wine. I don't drink wine. That's not why I was there. I was there for the DMSC conference, which stands for the Digital Marketing Strategies Conference. That's why I was there. And I got to tell you, I learned so much while I was there. I mean, I took at least 15 pages of notes while I was there, and I was only able to go to the events like half day each day because ultimately business on the East Coast is hard to keep up with on the West Coast. So I spent my mornings taking care of the East Coast business, and then I would hit the conference. But I took at least 15 pages of notes. And while I was there are a couple things about the experience that I wanted to share with you today. And that's what I'm going to do. Before I do, though, you know what we got to do on this show? You know we got to do some dancing, right? Wake up. All right, boom. Here we go. What's up, Craig? My man Craig's up in here. What's up, Craig? Hey, for those of you that know and those of you that don't know, this is the part of the show where I need you to hit that share button. Okay? And I need you to hit that share button because I believe if we can change the way people start their day, it'll make a massive impact on this planet. I truly believe that. And sometimes all it takes to change the way somebody starts their day is for you to hit that share button. So whether you're over here on Instagram, maybe you're on Facebook, share it out. Maybe you're over on Clubhouse. If you're over on Clubhouse, go ahead and hit the plus button in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. And for those of you that are on Instagram and Clubhouse, if you want to see the full production with music and B-roll and pictures, you can go to Official Glenn Lundy on Facebook. Go to Official Glenn Lundy and you can check us out there. All right. This is also the part of the show where I want to say good morning to you, and I want you to say good morning to me. Whether you're watching live, you're watching on replay, you're listening to the podcast, you're watching on YouTube, however you're connecting, I want you to reach out and say what's up. I'll say what's up back. Fair enough? Fair enough. Over here on Instagram, we've got Daniel Adamora. I'm glad you're here this morning. What's up, Alloy Artist? My man Craig is in the building. We've got Biz Strategist Sandy is up in here this morning. Great to see you, Biz Strategist Sandy. We've also got April Johnson up in here. We've got Regina Fleming and Jeff, the entrepreneur. We've got the Kimberly King is in the building. Tristan Smith. All kinds of folks over here on Instagram this morning. I'm loving it. What's up, Stefani G4 and Bagatab? And we've got Rodney Hatfield over here on Clubhouse. We've also got Kevin Lee that just joined us. We've got Carwan and Vernita. We've got Diane Dixon and David Hill. Sarah and Keisha are up in the building this morning. What's up, Danielle and Maria and Chris and Regina and Mark and Big Mike and Martin and Annette and Sheila and Brett and Andrea. We've got Helen up in here this morning. Good morning, Helen. How you doing, Jess Scheller? Great to see you, sir. We've also got Pam and Taylor and Christina and Patricia. We've got Tydash and Sandy and Roger, and Core Element is up in the house. We've got Myra and Laura and Suzanne and America and Ed and Dan and Matt and Armando and Carrie and Haley and Sherry and Tamara Andrus is up in here. What's up, Derek Bixler? Great to see you. And we got Rob and Monica and Selena and Dale is in the building this morning. We've got Tim and Tina, Kelly, Overfell. Everybody's up in here on Clubhouse. Woo! Packed house, man, this morning. And I can't see who's watching on Facebook because my phone is dead. That's right, it's dead. I got the one going to Insta. I got this one I usually use to look on Facebook. It's dead. So for those of you watching on Facebook, just say good morning. I'll go back. I'll say what's up. Just know that I stinking love you. All right? I stinking love you. All right, we're going to dive into today's episode of Hashtag Rise and Grind. However, before we do, I do want to remind you that in 9 days, that's right, in 9 days, we will be in New York City at the Breakfast with Champions Consortium, your opportunity to get a seat at the table, to sit and hang out with Danelle Delgado and ask her all the questions that you want to ask her, to sit and hang out with a guy like Brian Benstock and ask him all the questions that you want to ask him, to sit and hang out with me and Sarah McCord and Dr. Janie Lacey and all these other incredible superhumans that are going to be at this particular event. Sit, ask your questions, talk. It's going to be amazing. It's a consortium. Everybody gets a seat at the table. We threw away the stage. We said, get rid of the stage. I'm not interested in the stage. We want an opportunity for everyone to come together and really be able to build and grow their business with the digital strategies going forward. So make sure you join us, New York City. You can get your tickets at championsnyc.com. That's championsnyc.com. Go get your ticket now, and I'll see you there 9 days from now. It's going to be fire. Let's go. When I arrived in Napa Valley, something's wrong with my phone here. When I arrived in Napa Valley for this particular amazing event, when I arrived in Napa Valley, there was a guy named David Long that picked me up. And David Long, he picked me up at the airport a little over an hour away, and we drove he picked me up in Oakland, California, and we drove down to Napa Valley. And this dude is an amazing, incredible guy. Like, he's just an amazing, incredible guy. Like, he's super healthy, hasn't had alcohol, hasn't eaten meat in like 25 years or something like that, changed his life around at an early age, has beautiful, beautiful kids that are incredibly well-mannered, incredibly adjusted, and incredibly smart, and incredibly talented. And he's just a really, really, really special human. And so he picked me up at the airport with his 16-year-old son. And we got to drive back from Oakland down to Napa. It was a great drive. I got to get to know his son better, got to get to know him better. We had lots of thought-provoking conversations. It was really just so kind of him, right? And when we showed up at the event, the DMSC event, the Digital Marketing Strategies Conference, when we showed up at the conference, it was electric, right? We walked into the event and it was super high energy. Everybody was chatting and talking. There were some, rooms that were already running. You had a bunch of dealers there. We had vendors there. We had veterans there, people who have been around the business for a long time. We also had some green peas, people that are brand new to the automotive world. They were there, and there were people that were representing all different makes and all different models of vehicles and all different levels of experience. It was just incredible, right? And everybody individually representing their uniqueness, but collectively, we were all one. Does that make sense? I want to make sure that that makes sense. Individually, each person there was walking in their uniqueness, but collectively, we were all one. Like one body of like-hearted individuals, all in one area. Now, I like to make this distinction. I do it often. If you've ever listened to me, you've probably heard me say this before. There's a big difference between like-minded and like-hearted, and I'm not really interested in hanging out with a bunch of people that are like-minded. I don't want to hang out with a bunch of people that agree with me. That's not my interest, or a bunch of people that just look like me, that walk like me, that talk like me. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't mind hanging out with those people. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is my life is not. I'm not on this mission to hang out with only those that agree with me, right? I like to be in rooms with people that are like-hearted. We share the same heart, though we may have different minds. We may have different opinions, different thoughts, different beliefs. I'm totally cool with that, as long as our heart is in the right place. That's what matters most. So here in this room with all of these dealers, all of these people from the auto world that are experiencing the same thing, that have experienced the same thing with COVID and the challenges that come with that, and with technology and the big tech companies and all the different things that are going on, where there was this room of like-hearted individuals. And to me, it's always fascinating the magic that a room full of like-hearted individuals can create. I mean, we laughed. Like, there was so much laughter and fun that we had, right? A bunch of grown men and women just acting a fool at certain times, right? We laughed. It was so special. And there were so many really thought-provoking conversations, right? Thought-provoking conversations about the future of the business, where we're going, what we're going to do. A bunch of leaders in the industry were there. And so we had laughter and conversation, and we shared concern and empathy for each other's well-being going forward. Like, it really was everyone rallying together to support one another in an industry that's usually fairly cutthroat. That used to be very cutthroat, right? It was very dog eat dog. But that's not how it felt here. It felt incredibly empathic, where everyone was just looking to lift each other up. I also got an opportunity to capture my man Paul Daly and his beautiful bride. Just an incredible couple. Paul and Sarah are out of Syracuse, New York, and I got to spend time with them, and they have amazing kids as well. But this couple here is just an incredible couple that's they're on a mission as well to help serve the auto industry and to really elevate during this season. And so I got to spend some time with them and kind of capture them in their glow, right? They had no kids and they were blending a vacation with the conference, and it was just really special to be around that, right? It was something that I treasure. And my friend Nathaniel Greck, who a lot of you guys know, I captured him break dancing over in the courtyard. It was amazing. He like pulls out a little beatbox or a little, whatever you want to call it, little speaker. I call it a beatbox because I'm old. He pulls out a speaker, starts break dancing in the commons area in a suit, right? And like there were just so many treasured moments at this time in Napa Valley. And so I want to share my first big takeaway. There were lots of takeaways, but there were three big takeaways. And my first big takeaway for you was this: hanging around with like-hearted people will create special moments in your life. Sometimes we get so caught up in the day-to-day. I want you to just think about it for just a second. I want you to think about, when is the last time that you just got yourself into a room with a bunch of like-hearted individuals? Or when is the last time you just went on a trip to somewhere you've never been? When is the last time you maybe put yourself in an uncomfortable environment and just created an opportunity to smile and to laugh and to have somebody break dancing in a suit in the courtyard? When was the last time that was for you? You see, I know and understand that during this season, a season of lockdowns and COVID and scaries and all of those things, I know that a lot of anxiety, a lot of worry, and a lot of concern have brought a lot of people have retracted. They've pulled back. They said, you know what? I'm going to cling on to what I know to be true. I'm going to cling on to what I know to be solid ground, right? When the earth shakes, we tend to want to find solid footing. When the rains come, we tend to want to find shelter from the storm. But I want to challenge you. When was the last time that you danced in the rain? When is the last time that you were on that roller coaster and you let go of the bar and you put your hands up and you just allowed yourself to embrace the serenity that comes with losing control? You see, putting yourself in a room or in an environment with like-hearted people can create some really special moments for you. Moments that can't be created in your comfort zones, moments that can't be created from your bedroom, moments that can't be created in environments that are the exact same environments that you've spent the last 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 10 years in. Do you remember the quote from Carrie Ann at the beginning of this episode? It said, "If you are intent upon having your way in everything, you will be frustrated much of the time." I don't know exactly who I'm speaking to this morning, but I know that you have been feeling a lot of frustration. And that frustration that you're feeling may simply be because you're not allowing yourself to experience the magic and the special moments that can happen when you step out of those comfort zones and into an area or an environment with like-hearted individuals. Listen, one night we all went out to a fancy French restaurant. One of the nights that I was there, I got to meet up with Jay Lissa. She came and met up with David Long and I and some of our other friends. And we went out and had dinner at a French restaurant. And when we went to the restaurant, it took us a very long time to get our table. We had a big party. There was 16 of us, I guess. And once we got our table, they kind of split us up over a couple tables, and I was in the middle of the tables. And so I took my chair and I kind of turned it just a little bit so that I could face both tables and be able to talk to both people because I'm a dolphin. I like to be social, right? And this woman that was running the establishment, I don't know if she was the manager or the owner or what, but she came over to me and she said, "Sir, I need you to put your chair back in. The waiter has to come through here." And I said, "Oh, okay, yes, ma'am." And we looked around and there really was nowhere for the waiter to go. There was no one else being served in that particular area. And I said, "Okay, I was just going to talk to them real quick. And then of course I'm going to sit and eat at the table. I'm not going to sit with my chair turned sideways." And as I was talking, she said, "Sir, you need to put your chair back to the table because the server must go through here." And I said, "Okay, all right, no problem. I'm gonna put it back." And as I was talking, she said, "Sir, if you don't like it, you're welcome to leave." And I smiled real big. I said, "Okay, thank you." And I turned my chair and I sat back down, and my friends that were at the table, including Sarah and Paul, who are just amazing. They're like family to me. Everyone was really upset with the way that this woman treated me. And they were ready to get up and leave. We had waited all this time to get there, and they were like, "She's so rude to you. We're going to get up and leave. We're just going to go." And as they were saying that, and Sarah and Paul and everybody was just was agitated, I said, No. I said, "We're not going to leave." And they said, "What do you mean we're not going to leave?" I said, "We're not going to leave." I said, "That woman right there, she has a sick child at home that's been battling illness for a very long time." And all of a sudden, Sarah's face went from upset and hard to really soft. And she said, "Oh, really?" And I said, yeah. She's got a sick kid at home, and her husband has been abusing her for a really long time, and she hasn't been able to get out of that environment, and she's struggling financially. And I shared this whole story, and Sarah was like, "Oh my gosh, really?" And I said, "Actually, no, not really, Sarah." I said, "I don't know her story. I really don't, but maybe that's what she's going through. Maybe that's why she's acting that way. I mean, hurt people tend to hurt people." So we sat down and we had our dinner, and I don't share that story to toot my own horn. I share that story because the next day at the conference, multiple people were talking about that experience the night before. And then I got interviewed on a podcast, and it came up in that podcast. They asked me about that particular experience. And then I talked to a friend of mine a week later, and they had told me how they had shared that experience with their family, how turning that other cheek and creating a new narrative in the mind of why that person was acting that way versus responding in what would have been justified, versus pouring fuel onto the fire. Instead, we poured water. We poured love. And so I share that story with you because the second big takeaway from Napa was one small action towards grace can cause major ripples in this lifetime. Dude, a lot of us have been dealing with a lot of stuff, man. With the COVID, with the lockdowns, not being around like-hearted individuals, with our businesses, with sickness, with illness, with loss. And so I just want to challenge you in this season to offer grace when possible. You see, one small action towards grace can cause major ripples in this lifetime. Now, the third thing I want to share with you, it's going to take me just a little bit over on time, but during the event, I took 15 pages of notes. As I told you, there was just so many different things to learn and to experience. And these were everything from technology to marketing to innovative ideas and, insider information. I listened and I learned and I was intrigued and I was fascinated. I mean, there is so much changing in the world. There are so many things that are happening at a rapid pace. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. And there are so many areas of opportunity, right? Big tech is coming. Data is king. The future is now, right? All of these words were used, and I've heard all these taglines, and all of them are true. But mainly, the biggest thing that I took away after listening and learning all of these notes is that things are moving incredibly fast. However, no matter how far behind you might be or how far behind you might feel, there is tremendous opportunity on the horizon if you will just start and start now. Listen, I want you to think about it for just a second. Has there ever been a time where you saw new technology and you're like, oh my gosh, that's beyond me. That next generation, I don't know how they could even do that. Or you're blown away because your 2-year-old can work an iPad, can work an iPhone, and you're like, oh my gosh, like, dude, I don't even, like, this is crazy. I can't keep up. Like, it can be a little bit overwhelming, right? The data's coming from every way, and you got funnels that you're supposed to create, and then you got Facebook ads, you got digital marketing, you got all these different things, right? It's kind of crazy and sometimes overwhelming, and sometimes we're quick to have our own way in everything, as the quote says. And ultimately, we end up frustrated much of the time when we do that. And so a lot of times we think, well, it's too late. I didn't get in on Bitcoin early enough, so it's too late. I don't understand it. I'm just going to stay away from it. I don't know what an NFT is, and it's too late, so I'm just going to stay away from it. And we make these excuses for ourselves that it's too late. We should have, we could have, and we would have, but we didn't. And now that everything's moving so rapidly, it's too late, and the opportunity is behind us. And I'm here to tell you, no, the opportunity is ahead of you. It's not behind you. It's in front of you. The rapid pace, the things that have come and passed, those weren't the things that were for you. The things that are for you are forward, they're in front, but you must start now. Listen, in your health, if you think you need to be healthier, then I need you to start today. Eat better, start to work out. You'll thank yourself later. If it comes to your money and your finances and you're not in the position you want to be, that's okay. The opportunity is on the horizon. It is ahead of you. It is in front of you, not behind you. So just start today. Maybe it's your visions and your dreams, the things that you've always said that you want to do, but you just have yet to do them. And I'm here to tell you that it's not too late. It's never too late. As a matter of fact, right now is the time. It is the perfect time. Opportunities are everywhere. You just have to start today. Maybe it's some new tech that you need to learn. Maybe it's some innovations that are coming out in your industry or around you. It's all opportunity, my friends. Yes, the future is here. Yes, the future is now. But guess what? The future of today looks nothing like the future of tomorrow. So start now. It's not over. This is the beginning. We are at the starting line of tech and innovation. This is not the finish line. So I want to challenge you. The three main things I took away. One, there's so much opportunity. No matter how far behind you might feel today, there's so much opportunity. Two, one small action towards grace can cause major ripples in this lifetime. And one, hanging around with like-hearted people will create special moments for you. But I'm going to end with the same quote that I started with. If you are intent upon having your own way, having your way in everything, you will be frustrated much of the time. That's the quote. That's the takeaway. You don't get the special moments. You don't get to experience the grace or the reward from giving grace. And you don't get to take advantage of these opportunities if you continue to be intent on having your way. Fair enough? Fair enough. You're like, okay, Glenn, quit yelling at me. I get it. All right, listen. If you need more episodes of #RiseAndGrind, you can go to glennlundy.com. There's a ton of them up there. You can go check them out. All right. If you want to talk about today's episode of #RiseAndGrind, head on over to Clubhouse. We're going to talk about that for a little while. And then my man Jeff, the entrepreneur, is going to be taking over the mic. And then Liza and Joy are going to be here a little bit later. Trevor, Dr. Rowe, Brielle, Amelia, and of course the one and only Danelle Delgado is going to be joining us today. So if you want to do that, come hang out with us over on Clubhouse. But know this, my friend, all right? You and I, brothers and sisters, all right? That's why I talk to you the way I do. My name is Glenn, and I'm your friend. You and I are brothers and sisters in Christ, children of God, God of the universe, God that made everything. And that God made you and I to be the best versions of ourselves that we can possibly be. Not average, not a little above average, not a little bit below. The absolute best. All right? So just start today. I don't care what you've done. I don't care what opportunities you feel like you missed out on. Start today becoming the best version of you that you can possibly be. It matters. Fair enough? Fair enough. All right. I'll see you tomorrow, 5:30 a.m. on hashtag Rise and Grind. Love you. Peace.
My mission, vision, values, and my gratitude list. I'm building up momentum. I'm making good decisions. I rise, I grind, I get it. Ain't no doubt that I'm committed. Cause who really loses if I don't win? Can't cheat the grind, only get what you put in. So I'm mastering my mentals. I'm focused on my physical. I'm developing spiritually and manifesting miracles. I'm gonna get it started, have a party in the morning. And I'ma wake the world, is so alarming. I hashtag rise and grind. Hashtag rise and grind. First thing on my mind, early in the morning time. Daily motivation, feeling so divine. Waking up the nation. Hashtag rise and grind. Hashtag rise and grind. Grind, 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 grind. Good morning, don't stop. Good morning, get it, get it. Good morning, don't stop. Get it, get it, get it. Good morning, don't stop. Good morning. Good morning, don't stop, get it, get it, hashtag rise and grind, let's go, let's get it, let's go, let's go, let's hashtag rise and grind, let's go, let's hashtag rise, let's go, let's go, let's hashtag rise and grind, I know you hashtag rise, let's go, let's go, let's hashtag rise and grind, let's go, let's hashtag rise, let's go, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, everybody in the land, make them all get up and